Hello everybody. So yesterday I made a set of one sheet Wonder cards, and it's Wonder with a W. And the idea behind these cards, you may have seen them before, they've been around a long time, is that you get the most out of a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. And the cards are to go together easily, quickly, you could just put together in an hour or so all of these cards. So I prefer double-sided because it's just more versatile. So that's just me. A lot of people just use the single-sided paper and the thinner paper even, but I prefer the thicker double-sided. The reason I decided to do these right now is because I have a lot of paper. I sell Fun Stampers Journey products, and so I have a lot of paper that's going to retire at the end of June. July 1, we have a brand new catalog coming out, and it's going to have just a ton of new stuff in it, and I want to make room for the new. Plus, I don't want to make a video with an old piece of retired piece, I should say, of paper, and then have someone want that paper and it's not available. So anyway, this one was a paper that I think's already retired. It had arrows on one side, and then this ombre looking that goes from a light green to a darker green to a blue. It's really pretty. So you see I have these strips, and this one I cut a little shorter, and then I just stamped right on that strip, and I stamped some in the background. So it came together really quickly. There's that one. There's that one. There's Friends Are Our Chosen Family. I really love that stamp set. And here, this one goes like this. And then this one opens from the bottom. And then this one opens from the bottom also. Okay, so those are the cards I made yesterday. Now I only was able to get 7 cards out of this sheet because I used, as you can see, I used 2 on here, and I used 3 squares on this one. So I used more than one shape on each card, so I got 7 out of them. Today I'm going to try to make different size cards. So I have these little 3 by 3 cards that I thought would make a really cute set. I have the standard A2 size, and I have these are 5 by 6.5. So I thought I'd get some interesting looks out of these and see what I come up with. I pre-stamped and die cut some thank yous because I knew I'd want to use those, but my die cutting machine the little one is right here, the little Amaze machine that is on the retirement list, so it's, I know, like half off. And then there is a package where you can buy some different die cuts and get it for free. So I've done a video on that. I will link below to that. Okay, so I'm going to put our piece right here. Oh, and don't worry about trying to get all this information off the video because I will have it on my blog. I'm going to make a blog post about this, and you'll be able to see this paper and everything. So, okay, so I chose this paper, and on the back side it has these really pretty stitched stars. So I thought this would be very nice to use with some of these different. And then I pulled some paper too. I've got some white pieces. I have some black. I have some, let's see, bubblegum, pretty pansy. And that's what I pulled so that we'd have some versatile paper to use for this. Oh, and also Huckleberry Fusion, I think that is. So I just pulled black ink to use though, because I don't want to make this too complicated. Okay, so let's start cutting this. So we have our instructions right here. You'll notice the first column is 2 inches across. Let's see, is 2 inches across. So I'm going to cut a strip at 2 inches all the way down. So let's take this blade off. We just need a regular blade for this. So I'm going to, let's see, to cut this at 2 inches. There's 2 inches. And then I'm going to take this 2-inch piece, and you'll see I've got a 2 1/8, 2 1/8, 2 1/8, and 5 1/2. So those are my measurements. So I'm going to go, I'm going to turn this the other way so you can see better. So we're going to do 2 1/8, 2 1/8, and one more at 2 1/8, and then we're going to do 5 1/2. And there's just going to be this little tiny strip that's going to be extra. Okay, make sure that's 5 1/2. Yep, 5 1/2. Okay, so there's those three. Now the next column is 5 1/4 wide. So I'm going to cut that first. So 5 1/4 should line up all the way up. Yep. So I'm going to cut my 5 1/4 piece. And then from this 5 1/4, I'm going to cut, let's see, I'm going to cut these top squares are 3 3/8 down. So I'm going to cut 3 3/8 down first, because there's 2 of them. 3 3/8. And 3/8 is just the notch right before the 1/2 inch. People aren't used to using eighths of measurements. And then these are 2 5/8 each. So let's cut that one notch above the 2 1/2. And I have these 2 pieces. Okay. So this is the same thing. This one is 3 3/8. Here, cut at 2 5/8. 2 5/8. Okay. And then this last piece is going to be, you can see, 1 3/4, 1 3/4, 1 3/4. So that's what we're going to do to this. 1 3/4. Make sure it's lined up all the way up. Ugh, no fingernails. And 1 3/4. And then this one we don't need to cut because that's how our measurements ended up, so it'll be the same. There we go. Okay, so this last piece is cut already how far across we need it to be. So we need this to be, it's all 4 3/4. We need this to be 2 1/8. So let's get 2 1/8. And then the next one, 2 1/8 also. And one more, 2 1/8. So you have 3 of these strips that are exactly the same. Okay. And then for this bottom, you can see how we're going to cut 2, 2 3/4. So I'm going to get that 3/4 inch off, I think. No, I think I'll do the 2s first. So let's get 2 inches. Make sure it's lined up. 2 inches. Okay. And then this will be it'll be 3/4. So it'll go right before that 2, right there. Perfect. Okay. So all of our cutting is done. Now I think I'm going to do some of these little 3 by 3 cards first, and I think I'm going to do 4 of them. So I have all of this to do. And I think that I'm going to split this video up because it's already over 9 minutes long. So on part 2, we're going to put the cards together. And then part 3, we're going to make little card carriers for each size so that people can you can give them away as gifts and that kind of thing. Okay, thank you so much for watching, everybody, and happy crafting, and stay tuned for part 2 of this.